Welcome to Zooming to Webinar Success. If you're needing to plan a virtual meeting and are stuck, this series is for you. Full-time voice artist Grant Holmes is also a busy virtual meeting manager and on-screen host. Learn tips and tricks to having successful virtual meetings from step one. Here's your host, Grant Holmes, the webinar guy.
Well, welcome to Zooming to Webinar Success. This is episode 10, and today it's with Deborah Gardner. Now, in episode 9, I talked about how to fill the seats, but for today's episode number 10, I've got two amazing things going on. First is my guest, Deborah Gardner, and second is an announcement you'll have to just hang around for. So I'm so pleased to have Deborah in this super special episode. Now, I had to chop down her bio in her intro so I wouldn't have to have two shows. Just kidding, Deb. But here we go. Deborah is a swimming champion, author, consultant, and competitive performance expert who is professionally trained to transform people that want less resistance and more momentum while working and living in the fast lane. Better known by many Fortune 500 companies as the pit bull in a skirt, and I know her well enough to agree with that, Deborah is highly regarded and in demand as a global keynote speaker that successfully brings an explosive, high energy, captivating, engaging, and in-your-face, sassy approach. I love that. Deborah owns several entrepreneurial businesses as a high-impact leader worldwide. Her laundry list of honors includes just a couple little things like CNN's Top 75 Keynote Speakers Worldwide, Meetings Today magazine, Top 20 Meetings Trendsetters, Smart Meetings Magazine's Top 50 Smart Women Leaders, Meetings Mean Business Ambassador, Fabulous Arizona Magazine's Fabulous People to Watch, and crowned as Mrs. Arizona in 2020 and 2021, and Mrs. America with the American Queen Association in 2021 and 2022. Deborah is one of the most accomplished people I know, and I'm proud to call her my friend. And so, Deborah, after all that, what do you do after lunch? I mean, really, too bad you're not really motivated.
I know, right?
Jeez.
Well, the truth is, Grant, I'm just trying to keep up with you.
World domination. We'll get them. We'll get them.
Exactly.
Well, we've known each other, I as close as I can say, about 18 years. I know I found a file, and if you don't mind if I show this, I found this file from 2004, I think.
Oh, I was so proud of that one sheet.
Before that.
Yes, you are the one that branded me and got me started in the speaking industry. And you not only branded me, but you were able to put that one sheet together because I'm very visual and you must have picked up on that. I think most women are. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh, Compete Better Now is perfect. And I've always had that brand, always enjoyed that brand because it is who I am. And you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it for me.
Thank you. Well, I really appreciate that compliment. I think anybody that spends much time with you starts getting the fact that you're competitive, but in a really cool, cooperative way. You're not out bashing heads.
Yeah, no, that's a very good analysis. And like you mentioned, you know me well enough. I am very, very competitive, but I'm very competitive within myself. I'm a big believer that victory comes from within. And if you can really look into you, not others, not what other people are doing, that is where success comes from. And I've proven it in my own life over and over and over again. And so I'm proud to say that ever since you branded me of Compete Better Now, meaning again, within yourself, I haven't looked back. I've been able to help thousands and thousands of people.
That's so cool. And it's been a joy to watch your journey as you've progressed and started new things. And so I want to kind of touch on that beyond the exhausting list above. What are you up to today? What's kind of the on the plate stuff right now in your life?
Yeah, especially when I had like 2 years during the pandemic to think about it, right. To take that brand, Compete Better Now, to a whole new level. And really bring in some new messages to my audiences worldwide. and to see that everybody is needing a different set of help after this pandemic, going into this whole new world. And so, sitting back and watching people, talking to people, and I'm a big, huge researcher. I love to research. I love to read to see what's going on out there. So now I'm back up on the stage, but delivering a little bit more of a, how do you compete better now? Well, it's all about action and how do you take that action? So I'm doing that. Of course, I've learned how to balance my personal life with my professional life now, and I'm really happy about that because I'm a big believer. Also, you have to slow down to speed up. So I've been able to really do that, and I'm just a big believer that you have to have that first-hand experience before you can have an opinion, a perspective, to share with others what they do. If you haven't done it yourself, there's no way you could do that. So my whole speaking career has taken a whole new level, along with consulting. I do a lot of consulting for companies and organizations. Can't get into coaching because it turns out to be life therapy for me. So I've never been a really good coach. I prefer to be in the action. During the pandemic, I come from the hospitality industry, which is pretty much what our world is all about, and it got hit really hard. And so I started a podcast, video broadcast. More podcast is more, what I've learned is more audio. Broadcast is more video, and on the video side. And so I started that up for the hospitality industry, which now has turned into a business. Yeah. And on top of that, I've opened up a home watch business. Because
I forgot about that. Yeah.
And during the pandemic, I live in Arizona, where a lot of snowbirds come and go, and they couldn't get here because of the pandemic. So I started watching their homes, flushing toilets and watering their plants, and all, starting their car that has been sitting in the garage for over a year. I mean, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a very, very busy time, and now it's all about trying to coordinate all that.
That's really cool. Well, as it comes into Zooming and webinars and interviewing and podcasts and broadcasts and all that kind of stuff, using your Hospitality Today show as a reference, hit me with maybe, I don't know, your top 5 interviewing techniques or approaches. How do you get your guests to spill?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. As a matter of fact, I would like to take that one step further. Not only do I want to help give you some top tips for being a host, but what about being a guest? So I thought I would surprise you with 2 angles here. Hospitality Today Live is the #1 broadcast show in the hospitality industry worldwide. We just discovered, especially after we did a launch last week for Global Meetings Industry Day, which is an annual celebration in the hospitality industry. We are the top 15 in the podcast world. So we do audio and video. And so I'm really, really proud of where this has come, even though I guess it just, it became natural because I do have broadcast background, sports broadcasting.
From a long time ago.
From a long time ago, way before you and I met. And
I may have some videos back there, but I didn't dig any out.
Exactly, right.
This girl on a basketball court doing an interview. I remember that one. But
Yeah, back in the day when women were not even allowed to give football scores very much, let alone be reporting and everything. But now it's come twofold, which is great. So let me give you some tips.
Yeah.
On the hosting side, those especially that are interested in hosting, I really believe the first thing you have to do is you have to research. Podcasting, broadcasting is not for everyone. And to become a host is a big, huge responsibility. And you have to be a researcher. You have to know how to find different things about your guests that other interviewers out there are probably having them on the show talking about. You really want to uncover who they are personally and professionally, because there could be some good dirt underneath there. But research is really important. And I'm even talking about researching the technology that you need to have. I mean, look at you've got your lighting just fantastic. You've got you're set up fantastic, you dress fantastic. I mean, all those things are really, really important. So researching and understanding even what, podcasting is and what video broadcasting is, to do that first before you even get into this is going to be key if you're going to be successful or not. But like I mentioned, technology, understanding technology, and I have a love-hate relationship with technology. So I struggle with that area. I've always been in front of the camera, not behind the camera. And here I'm, trying to learn behind the camera is really, really tough on me. And it changes. Technology changes all the time. And to keep up with that is really, really tough. So if you can have a technology staff person on board, boy, that is key to do. Another idea that really a lot of podcasters and broadcasters jump into prior to is to actually have a guest prep tip sheet. Having and I call mine a before, during, and after tip sheet. And it's a prep sheet for your guests. So they know what to prepare for and understand before getting on the show, because you don't want to be on the show and then they do, you didn't want them to wear red, the color red, they didn't know that, it's going to be too late. And that prep sheet, it could be from, technology, what we learned before having that prep sheet is we had one guest come on that was on their cell phone for the show, and it just bombed. Our complete show just bombed because the cell phone back then just was not the high tech that we to look professional. It just didn't work out. So we really made a huge mistake. So the prep sheet says no cell phone usage, things like that. So you kind of learn along the way, but I call it the before, during, and after, which I think is important. Other things, just know how to ask questions. And you do a great job of that. Open-ended questions. You allowed, you asked a question, but you opened it, you had it open enough to where I can go wherever I want to go with it. Because sometimes
I think one of the things that frustrates me more than anything when I'm watching an interview is when the interview says something and then he follows it with something else and then he fills it, and it's like, why do you have the person on? It's going to be the show,
Right. And also not to be always so perfect. I love doing live. Not too many podcasters or broadcasters do live shows. I love live shows. I like the vulnerability. I like the interruptions. I mean, if the doorbell rings or the dog barks or my throat, needs to be cleared, I'm going to, take a drink. I mean, people want people to be, people and
authentic.
Just authentic and just be who you are. And I tell you, my shows, the ones that rate the highest are the vulnerability ones. People that cry, people that, really open themselves up, because of who they are. And I love doing, interviews with leaders and CEOs and presidents, because people don't get that personal side of them. And on my show, you really do. And last week was a great example of that. If anybody went to the Hospitality Today Live YouTube playlist for GMID last week, you'll see that the leaders of the industry, I showed pictures of their dogs, and which was great, because then you could see their face light up, or I'd ask them, particular questions about their personal life, and they're just like, oh, okay, this is different, So those are about the 5 tips that I like to express from just my experience, which is research, technology, the prep sheet, asking questions, and being authentic.
Yeah, cool. Good stuff.
Speaking of, I need to get a drink.
Yeah. So since we've been connected, we kind of touched on this. We may have killed it, but it's a question I had kind of prepped. Since we've been connected, you've come from a stance of competition. So how does that resonate with you, and or why? Maybe that's the better way to go with this one.
Competition has always been embedded in me because I was a Marine brat.
Oh, yeah.
I was brought up around the world. I just did my 29th move with my husband recently in my life. Yes, I have counted them. But I always like to take on a challenge. And I even like to be a guest. Like here, this is a challenge. I'm usually not on this side of the interview table. And this is a challenge to me. And I know I promised you some ideas on how to be a guest. Some of those ideas can, be, dressed to impress. You don't want to wear, plaids, or you don't want your hair pulled all the way back to where you just see face and you look like you're bald or something, unless you are bald. Um, um, I'd like to take on a challenge, and being a guest is one. And I know another one that a guest should do is always, when you're a guest, you should always provide a testimonial to, the host afterward, whether it's on their LinkedIn page or it's sending out, like this interview we're doing now. Being a guest, there's work to do as well. So for me to be on this side of the camera per se, or the interview, becomes a challenge. And so again, I think it's just always been embedded in me, Grant. I just always like to up the ante. I always like to try something new and different. I don't like being complacent. I don't want people to be complacent. I always want to make them think and act. And that's why I enjoy what I do in helping people, because I want to put them in an uncomfortable situation so that they can learn and grow.
That's cool. That's cool. Your turn. Anything that you wanted to talk about that we didn't hit on?
I want to talk about the hospitality industry, because everyone is somehow connected. 1 in 10 people, worldwide are in the hospitality industry, and people don't realize they most likely are in the industry, whether you're doing customer service or sales, or you're a leadership role, you're being hospitable. And I teach leaders how to be hospitable to their employees. And people don't realize how big the hospitality industry is. It's larger than the automobile industry. It's larger than the retail, pharmaceutical. The only industry that it's not larger than is the government. So that's how big the hospitality industry is. And I want your viewers to understand that we need the hospitality industry, because we all somehow have a connection to it. And during the pandemic, it really got hit hard. As we know, 76% of people that work in the hospitality industry lost 100% of their income.
Wow.
96% of companies had to cut their staff during that time. But we are proud to say that there was a new report that just came out from J.D. Power for the U.S. Travel Association, and the administration has approved a $13 billion relief plan to help, especially the small businesses in the industry, like myself, get through what was a horrific time period of the industry. And yet it's not our first rodeo, Grant. We've been through this before. We've been through it with SARS. We've been through it with HIV, recessions, hurricanes. I mean, there's always something that the hospitality industry is faced. But we're glad to hear that relief plan has been passed, and hopefully it'll help with the recovery stage and getting us all back to where we want to be. Because I don't know about you, but virtual was not my plan. Doing programs, virtually. I don't mind it, but I'm all about face-to-face. I really am.
Yeah. Connection is, I'm a huge networker. I love being in a group with people and talking and figuring out how I can help their business or whatever. And this is nice, but it's not the same as the vibe you get when you're in person. It's just not.
Right. Very true. Very, very true. But I think if people want to try something new and different, and be competitive with themselves, try a podcast, try a webinar, a broadcast, play with technology. Because I tell you what, one thing that did help a lot of people grow is that people had the flexibility of knowing that nothing was going to be perfect during a webinar, podcast, broadcast, that kind of thing. But and webinars are very popular right now, and I think they always will be. So any viewer that's watching this right now actually should take advantage of contacting you right away.
There you go.
and and learn and be guided by you, because you are the webinar guy and you know how this all operates. I know, and I can say that for a fact, it's a testimonial because I've known you for close to 20 years.
Right. Well, thank you for that. And that was a great segue into our announcement, right? So
Oh,
I'm going to
excellent.
show a logo. I'm going to get this prepped here.
Oh,
So
how exciting.
as of this day, which is this will be what, Wednesday the 18th. I don't know. We'll make that up later. But anyhow, yeah, right. There's the spontaneous interaction that we have no idea what we're talking about. So this is the new logo for the webinar guy. And I've still got to get a little bit different picture. That's not going to be the final picture or look, but that's going to be the logo.
Oh,
So
I know what picture you need to do.
what's that?
Oh, or just explosive, wonderful looking. Yeah,
Okay.
I like that one, but I bet we've got something else in
All right.
mind.
We'll get something else then. Well, so this is really exciting to me, and it's kind of a culmination of things that have been going on. You know, as you know, I started into the voiceover world about 18 months ago, again from being in radio, and more this has been what people are asking me to do. I think there's a certain gravitas, or I don't know what the word is, but people like the authoritative, older looking corporate guy, so that it's actually become two and three different things. It's become moderating, which I sit in the background and you'll never see me, but I pull all the buttons and make the things happen. And then hosting, which is not necessarily interviewing like this, but it's interviewing the speakers as they come, and all that kind of stuff. So this has been a nice transfer of talents, and like you just mentioned about forcing yourself to learn new stuff that you didn't know last week. Like, I've got 3 cameras and all these lights and all this stuff going, as you all know, and it's like, to make it invisible and go well for clients is where I've worked with that.
Yeah, I mean, look at my camera right now. I look blue.
Yeah, it's
Now,
faded in and out, so who knows there,
yeah,
right? Right.
I mean, that's just the part of, I have no clue what's going on there, but I'll have my tech guy take a look at that. But that those things are going to happen,
Yeah,
and
I
again,
was
they're
on a
not
call the other
recorded.
day, an international call with a trucking company, and we started the Zoom conference, and Zoom crashed. It's like,
Yeah, it's going to happen.
so we
Yeah.
had all those people out there going, "Where'd they go?"
Yeah, yeah. And you know, it's so funny because we talk about meat safe and being safe with security and everything. And yet, and we talk about, you know, it's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's a matter of when it's going to happen. So
Right.
people are just going to have to accept the fact that, hey, technology is, things are going to happen.
Yeah, and I think that's, I think you came to that point a little bit ago, and you said, you know, one of the good things about the pandemic is everybody realized that this is not a perfect world in
Right,
technology, and things
right.
are going to happen, and just, you know, roll with the punches for a few minutes. We'll be back,
Yeah,
or whatever. So I think
yeah.
that's been a good,
And bring it, you know, the elephant into the room. I mean, if you're
yeah,
having technical difficulties, you've heard that before at movie theaters and TV
right,
shows. We're having a difficult, you know, it's okay. It's okay to mention that, and you want to mention it. I mean, look at my screen. Isn't that interesting?
yeah.
Oh, my skin color has
I wonder if it's
definitely,
the distance and light reflection, or who knows, right?
right, right. Yeah,
It's like I've
you
got to
just,
watch if I don't come too far forward, then I get all kinds of light on my forehead. So
right,
it's like,
right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It
and
looks
then you
like I'm in
forget.
black and white now. So it's,
Yeah.
it is
We'll
what it
call it a
is.
special effect, right?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
We meant
I
to
like
do
that.
that.
Here's a special effect.
Fun. Well, thank
I
you so
love it.
much for being on and helping me kick
Yeah,
off the new thing. It's been great catching up with you, even in the prep beforehand, just to chat and see what we're all doing and watch each other on social media. So
it's
I so
great. And
appreciate you and so proud of what you've
absolutely.
accomplished. So thank you for being here and helping me do
And
this.
thank
This
you
means a lot.
for becoming the webinar guy, because we always can improve in that area. Our audiences want us to keep improving it. And it's great to have somebody like you that's an expert, the go-to guy that has been doing this for a long, long time, along with your voiceovers. I mean, you've got several different expertise all in one. And
Right.
I think I believe you're going to be very, very successful with this. And I'm hoping all the viewers today contact you right away, because I'm so glad I did 18 years ago. Boy, this has been fun to stay in
It
touch
gave me a
with
little
you.
chill when you said that, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
well,
yeah,
hey,
that's neat.
this is special. This is special. So
Yeah,
I'll be in
and
touch.
better than the business part is the friendship in my mind. So that's all good.
Yes, yes, absolutely. That's key, if anything. You
Well,
always
thanks.
develop a friendship.
Yeah, thanks again, Deborah.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, next week we're going to go to episode 11, and I'll jump back into Zooming to webinar success. I'd love to hear your questions and comments in the box below or however you can. This series is mainly for smaller organizations and solopreneurs that may not be tech savvy, don't know all the steps, or quite frankly, don't want to know all the steps. So over the series, we're going to lead you through all the significant decisions and capabilities, like reading, you'll need to Zoom to webinar success. And as always, if you need help right now, don't hesitate to reach out at Grant's Voice at VoicePro@grantsvoice.com. Thanks for watching.